Stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we'll start with the public portion. James Cafaro.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thanks very much for having me. I just have, if you have any questions about the permit we submitted, Clearwater Beach Property Owners Association, we submitted it in early July, and I was wondering if anybody had any questions that I could answer at this time, maybe to help speed things along.
I'm not sure anyone's here tonight from that committee.
Ah, okay. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I
So
left
they would be the ones who have, looked at it at this point.
Okay, because I left a message for Ms. McNally.
She's away.
Okay. We are willing to change that permit to a one-year permit, not a problem. We are using all tropical woods. We're going to do green heart pilings, green heart whalers. On our north-facing bulkhead, the piece that faces Gardiner's Bay, that's going to be done in steel. And the old bulkhead, the 600 feet, is going to be done in 650 shore guard 650 vinyl, which is a very heavy vinyl. And we're going to use that along our launch ramp also. So,
Where it goes in, yeah, the whole
yeah,
thing?
yep.
So that's going to be along the inlet, the shore guard?
No, the inlet was done about 4 years ago by Keith Grimes Incorporated. Did a marvelous job, put the piling 6 feet on center, 3 whalers. It's a beautiful job. That was done. It's going to go from the inlet all the way around the boat basin.
And how many linear feet is that going to comprise, Jim?
Total about 740 linear feet.
Pretty
Major
substantial.
project.
Yeah, sounds pretty
Substantial
substantial.
project.
Is this a separate permit from the other side of the channel? Lionhead
Yes,
side?
it's separate.
Completely
Lionhead
separate,
is
okay.
their own Property Owners
Right.
Association. They're doing some work also.
Right.
But this is completely separate.
Yeah, this is all bulkheaded already, though. You're just replacing the bulkhead.
Yes, in
right?
place.
Yeah, it's
The
in
only
place.
thing that's not in kind, we're going from steel to a heavy vinyl around the boat basin. That's the only difference.
And are you being held up, Jim, at this, by committee people that may not be available? We don't want that to happen.
Thank you
either.
very much. Yes, at this point, we would like some kind of, answer by mid-October is when we would.
Well, we see if we can get it to the next meeting.
Yeah, the next meeting.
Next meeting? Okay, but
Yeah.
if there's any questions, I'm not sure. I think we're doing everything correctly.
And
It's all going in exactly the same place, you're just upgrading all the material.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Jim, what was the status of the survey that you submitted? Is that a recent survey that was submitted with the project? 'Cause that's a common question that tends to
Yeah,
come up.
The
so-
status, as far as I know, was tabled.
But in terms of the survey that covers the
Oh, the
property?
survey was a little dated, but it was exactly the same. We
Okay.
sent that into InterScience, who's
Was that
doing the
your-
work for us.
That was an as-built survey from when you were done?
No, it was done later on. I
was
think it was
done-
about 4 or 5 years old, maybe. I think we had to do a survey when we did the inlet. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm sorry, Francis, but you have the file in front of you, the red one. Yeah.
Does it have a date on it? Oh, 1 second. I'm sorry, I should have had that on the tip of my tongue.
2012 on this one.
Yeah, that's about right, 2012. yeah.
Creek?
And that's after any previous work on the property has been,
No, this was probably done when we did the inlet.
okay. Before the work or
This
after the
says
work?
bulkhead replacement.
Right, because we replaced the bulkhead on the inlet.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I just realized that one here, if you want to mark yours up, I could show you exactly what we're doing to prevent any other further questions. Can I approach?
It's clear on this
please.
one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some date on this?
This is 10/15, and
Gardeners Bay, that's our north bulkhead, that's the one that's gonna be
Plan.
steel.
Like one little section facing.
One little section, see, this inlet was done by Keith Grimes Incorporated about 4 years ago. They never did this little piece, which is beyond me, but I wasn't on the board at that time.
Okay.
So this is ball and socket in the corner, and we're just gonna continue it. We're gonna move some rocks, continue it all the way to the jetty. Okay, and then, this is the piece that was done 4 years ago. This was done in all
Done to
steel.
there.
This is all the steel that was rotted. Sinkholes all along. This is gonna be replaced with Shoreguard 650. From here, all the way to the launch ramp, and we're gonna do both sides of the launch ramp.
And this represents the 700 and something feet?
Total,
Yeah.
yep, it was 700.
Okay.
section they didn't do last time?
Right here, this north
This
facing
little bit.
bulkhead.
Yeah, it's a little bit
We
here.
call it the north facing bulkhead.
So how do you tie those corners in?
It's a ball and socket, I think, from what I understand.
Okay.
And that's how that corner's gonna get tied in. That's a great question. That's what was our concern.
Okay. So everything's in place, no dimensional changes?
No dimensional changes at all.
And this survey was done after the bulkhead
Probably
was
done
done by
after-
Keith Grimes?
Yes, I'm
Well,
pretty
what's
sure.
what's the date on that survey?
2012, I believe.
And it corresponds to Drew's plan?
It appears to, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked for the cost?
well, I mean,
Yeah.
no, that's on the application.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay. All right, that's it. I mean,
Yeah, I
if you
mean, I
have
think,
any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
yeah,
All
I
right,
think,
good.
Try-
And we'll be ready at our next meeting to, I would imagine,
Yeah.
finalize
Our
and
next,
get you moving.
our next
Yeah.
meeting is scheduled for a holiday, so
Oh,
we're gonna be skipping the next meeting and going to the
the following Monday?
So we're gonna have to
No,
do
it
a
would
meeting
be,
2 weeks in a row?
I don't know if this room's available. I mean, we could do an abbreviated one in the trustee office.
If you give Lori your email address, we'll shoot you
Okay.
definitive
So the
date.
next meeting is not the 9th?
No,
That's the holiday?
no,
Yeah.
we can't get in this building on the night.
Okay.
and Jim, I would suggest reaching out to your committee reports on the trustee board before the next meeting to make sure that you have an opportunity to speak with them.
Okay.
And,
Sure, no,
particularly to make sure that they have
I gotta
copies
be
of
honest,
the
I
survey.
made a few phone calls, quite a
We have
few
to
phone
talk
calls.
about that
I haven't gotten a return.
I will try also.
Okay.
But I just want you to, have every opportunity to get this done at the next meeting.
Right, okay. Because part of the problem doing that north-facing bulkhead, as everybody knows, that's gonna be a very difficult job if the weather turns.
You want a nice
So we
little
wanna
weather
get that.
window there.
We've requested that of the contractor, they've agreed to do that first. And
Is
then
there a
once you
tenant-
get in the boat basin, it's fine.
Right, and what is your tentative start date?
I would like to start the end of October,
10/20, 10/25?
10/20, 10/25, yep,
Okay,
okay?
great.
All right, thanks very much, gentlemen,
Thank you, Jim.
appreciate it. Okay.
All right, Britton Bistry?
Good evening. I'm Britton Bistry, and I'm here. On the agenda, you have a zoning board application for Otis CMS Real Estate Holdings on Marine Boulevard. And I thought I would walk through the project with you and see if you had any comments, if you were going to weigh in on the zoning board application, or if there was any discussion that I could be of assistance with.
I would love you to walk through it.
Okay. Thank you. So the project scope is, it's Marine Boulevard. It's the largest lot on Marine. It's over an acre. It's improved with 2 single-family residences, both dating to 1941. The primary residence is perched right on top of the primary dune. And the project scope is to remove that residence, revegetate and restore the primary dune, build a new house approximately 80 feet landward of the existing residence, so just right up against Marine Boulevard, and to build a 4,900 square foot residence and pool, conforming to all the dune crest setbacks. And we think that the project involves a lot of environmental benefits, not only the primary dune, revegetation. We're not doing anything landward of the dune crest. We're removing the entire lawn that's perched on top of the dune now and revegetating with native vegetation, building a new modern FEMA-compliant house, energy code compliant, and replacing both septic systems. We're not doing any work on the cottage house, but we're going to replace both septic systems with a modern system. They're both dating to probably the 40s.
Would that be a nitrogen processing system or systems?
This application was actually submitted about maybe 12 months ago, so it was prior to those being put into play. So they're standard conventional systems, both of them.
Okay, just let me clear. You got 2 existing residences on this property now?
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, you're still gonna have two residences on the property, or you're retiring 1 residence completely?
No, the cottage, but it will, net result is there will be 2 in the end. We're just not doing any improvements to the cottage. It's right up against Marine Boulevard. If you look at they're 100 feet apart in lateral dimensions, so.
How big is the residence you're demolishing?
It's approximately 2,500 square feet.
So you're doubling the size of it?
Not quite.
Almost.
4973, yeah.
Do you have a survey of the property handy?
Yeah. I think you should have one in the file, but I'm happy to,
Would you give any consideration to putting a nitrogen reduction system in there?
it's a good question.
All I have is this.
You want to start, Jim?
Yeah, can I just?
Now that I look at that survey actually has a structure that's no longer proposed, so I'll get you I can email the most recent one to your file.
Has the pool house been taken out of this?
That's been taken out.
Okay.
It was a portion of the
I
existing
got what
residence
you, I got what you were doing.
was going to stay as a pool house, but we've subsequently removed that.
Are you just notifying us, because we don't own the property, we're the adjacent property owner?
I mean, really,
We have to.
No, which is fine, but just so I understand. Okay.
I'm notifying you since you own the beach, and I found that
And we
if I don't
appreciate
show
the
up,
fact that you're doing
sometimes there's questions that come up that no one's prepared to answer, so it's just helpful to be
Yeah.
here in case there's something.
what, on the 3rd of October?
And our zoning board hearing is 10 days from now, or 8 days from now.
How much further away from the beach will we ultimately?
Moving up approximately 80 feet,
So you'd be 80 feet further away from the beach?
80 feet north, yep, seaward, landward.
So right now, none of what they're proposing here is really in our jurisdiction.
No, but I just want to clarify one point of what you just said. Because it says that a 50 foot from the primary barrier dune where a 100-foot setback is required. So where does, how does 80 feet factor into that?
The public notice went out. We're in the pool house. If you look at that survey, there's a portion of the existing residence that the owner wanted to keep as a pool house.
Okay.
Repurpose a part of the structure. That's subsequently been removed. That was 50 feet from the dune crest. Now everything is conforming to the 100-foot setback.
So, okay, so
So the public notice went out before that change
before the
got
adjustment was
integrated.
made. So it's not 80 feet, it's 100 feet? It is conforming to the setback then?
Sorry. We're moving the house 80 feet in dimension from the existing house. When we do that move, it'll be 100 feet from the primary dune crest.
So
So are
conform.
you?
good.
are
Two
you-
different dimensions.
So you're not looking for variances on this, you're just looking for an NRSP?
We are looking for a variance for height. because
you're so close to the
because
road.
we're in a VE FEMA zone, so the house will be approximately 13 feet above grade, so we need a height variance. But there's no environmental variances, correct?
Yeah, I like that you're going to be setting it back further. And are you saying that you're proposing in the form of a buffer by the dune area or a non-disturb area?
No, there's not specifically a buffer, but when the residence and the lawn area is removed, we're going to restore the primary dune and revegetate with beach grass.
With beach grass? Okay. And that will be on the water side or the entire dune mound?
The entire dune.
This
Okay.
ours or theirs? It's really not our,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't,
Seems like a
sounds
good project.
fairly responsible from a trustee
Yeah, we
point of view.
appreciate
we're
it.
not gonna show up at your hearing.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And I served a purpose.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah, thanks for the update.
That's what threw me off. I'm glad she came.
Yeah, I wish more people would
I had it on my list to go look at tomorrow, so
say you
just say,
trip.
I don't have to go.
No,
So Bradley,
you're off the hook.
He was.
There he is.
He's outside. I just
Brad, do you want to speak to us?
Just reading the agenda, I didn't realize I was up yet.
All right, you are.
Anyway, thank you for having me here this evening. Brad Lowen, I'm the chair of the East Hampton Fisheries Committee. I believe you guys know what what I am, so, and what the committee is, so I'll just skip the history if, unless you have any questions and you want to hear it. But the committee has been given permission by the town board to pursue projects, and for the benefit of the fisheries. Let me just explain the fisheries we represent in town. We represent them as we want them to be recognized as an industry. The town certainly does. The state, we're having a hard problem with, and with the federal government also. They seem to have some bias in not recognizing that we're an industry. We do represent the commercial fisheries. We represent the recreational fisheries, or higher recreational fisheries, and aquaculture. We've been in existence for about 10 years, and we've moved with some projects. And as we go along, we get to more complicated projects and goals that we want to accomplish. And one of the goals that we find is very important. It really is, because this is absolutely necessary in our dealings with fisheries management. We want to get a comprehensive socioeconomic study accomplished and done as quickly as possible, because none exists. There's data, there's statistics, there's various things that management and we and you guys could look at if you have questions about fisheries, but there's nothing comprehensive. To tell you the truth, we don't even know how many people work in our industry. We're not sure what our industry is actually worth in a scientific way, so that we could explain we are worth this. We have this many people who are depending on us as an industry, and so on and so forth. So none exist. It just isn't there. So what we've done is we've spoken to Cornell Cooperative Extension. They have agreed to do a comprehensive socioeconomic study as we've discussed with them. It started out just with East Hampton Town, and now it's expanded to cover the 5 East End towns, because when we make grant applications, of which we have made numerous applications, just about everybody says it has to be more regional before we will even consider it. So we have. We've expanded it to them, expanded the boundaries of this study. Cornell Cooperative has still agreed to do this study. They're going to do it for $100,000. We have managed to find a grant from New York State Industrial Development for $25,000. East Hampton Town will provide another $10,000. We've gone to, in order to expand this more regionally, we've gone to Southampton Town and Southold Town and asked them for contributions. They have agreed that it's a very good idea, and they certainly would consider it, but they haven't signed on. To be honest with you, I'm not sure that I would like, because there's strings attached. If they sign on, they want certain things. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure that would be fair to the taxpayers of East Hampton Town, because they have been supporting this committee and its activities for 10 years.
Okay, but part of this study of what you're being asked is to expand to give something that is more comprehensive.
Yes, it is.
And consequently, why wouldn't Southold, why wouldn't Southampton pony up on this?
And I do understand, and I
Do you
don't.
guys have membership in those communities that can
No.
lobby
No,
for this?
we don't. We don't. And maybe, that's just my personal feeling about that, I mean, when I say that I'm a little apprehensive, but they do want to have representation. They do want to have a say in what's done, and I can understand it. They want to get something for their money. I'm just saying that, at least myself, I'm a little apprehensive because there's so much effort and so much money that has been put into it already, and, I don't want it to become a East End town, 5 East End towns fisheries committee, certainly not at this point, anyway.
But
So, anyway, that's,
But the
But it
industry.
sounds like that's what the state's asking. That's what-
they want it to be regional. Those who, what we found so far is that most any grant application we've made want to expand it to a larger area than East Hampton. We originally made the applications as the East Hampton Fisheries Committee because that's what we are.
That's who's driving the process at this point.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
You're driving the process, you're providing the leadership to
Yes.
get this moving.
Yes, and, as I said, the town gives us a budget, and they have been for the last 10 years. And, we're trying to do the best that we can for what we've been given.
On behalf of the town taxpayers, the town
Yes.
fishermen.
Yes, exactly.
And the economic activity, right?
So, but if this criteria is to expand it, would you end up getting, with lack of a better term, saddled with this partnership, whether or not you would like it or not? I mean, is that?
Obviously, if we take their money, we certainly will, we'll have to, agree to some of their, criteria.
Their input and criteria?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Would that be just with the
And I'm
grant?
not saying
or-
I'm not saying that's bad, I'm really not. I'm just trying to make a point that this is an East Hampton project. We are the East Hampton Fisheries Committee.
Right.
And, we are speaking mostly in terms of management criteria, which is state and federal a lot, and we've been having a lot of conversations with the trustees, especially concerning the wind farm. But, for the most of, well, other than that, all of our activity is in that greater area, that larger area, the federal and state management area.
Would the information you're seeking about the economic impacts of fishing, would that help you in getting other grants? Would it help you in getting, would it be useful if we wanted to get dredging projects done? Or things like that, would that basis?
It
make us
would be,
another basis?
it would be a public document, that would explain.
It would be support, yeah, it would support, like, would support a request for dredging or something.
That's our thought, yes. Our thought is that it's a necessary document for the trustees, for fisheries management, for the Corps of Army Engineers to understand,
And it would
how their activities would affect the industry as a whole.
And it would fit into water quality also.
So absolutely.
Brad, do the other 4 towns also have a fisheries committee?
No,
They have nothing.
they have, no. they do
Are
not.
the other 4 towns interested in making any contributions?
Well, they
or
said they
financially?
would, but there's strings attached, which you could,
You willing to share what those strings are?
I'm not clear on what they are, to be honest with you. They certainly want to have representation. We didn't discuss the degree of representation, and we didn't discuss the interaction that we would have to have with those other towns for the money. And as I said, I can understand that they want to get something for what they're paying for. However, what they're paying for would be the same document
Right, that's what I was
that
thinking.
we're getting.
yeah.
Yeah, so
You
they're
know,
just
so I mean,
sharing the
it-
document.
Yeah, but Brad, wouldn't involving these other, the people in the industry in the other towns, wouldn't that make your organization stronger as a whole?
I'm not sure,
Because I'm kind of,
what I'm fearful of is that we have our thrust and our, the things that we're concerned with in East Hampton, that they become diluted. That's a personal fear of
What
mine.
exactly are you asking of the trustees?
Okay, it was suggested that the trustees, the committee should come to the trustees and ask if they would want to contribute financially towards this socioeconomic study.
Well, I think the trustees, I can't speak for everybody else here, and we don't have much of a quorum here tonight, but certainly this is something that's of interest to the trustees. The only thing I'm listening to right now is you've got a $25,000 grant
Yes.
from the state. You got $10,000 from the town. Okay, so that's 35 grand you've got total. You're coming to the trustees $65,000 short of your goal. What's the local industry looking to put into this?
We have considered fundraisers. We have made it, we've made
Because
considerations.
I'm just looking at the numbers
Yeah,
here
no.
right now. There's such a disparity from the goal, where you are today, to the goal. I'm listening to you, and my thoughts and what's going through my mind is I can see where it probably would be advantageous to make this study more comprehensive, have it encompass the local towns, and primarily because everybody shares from that benefit, and if you can share the costs as well, and if there's other fishermen's groups in Southold and Southampton, that, hey, guys, you should be organized, you should be together on issues, because you probably share a lot of the same things, and you'd be a much stronger voice than you would be as just single East Hampton, especially when you start looking at the base study is 100 grand, and we're not even halfway, we're not even halfway there.
If you could get 5 towns and 3 boards of trustees to put in something like $10,000 or $12,000 each, you're there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, again, I'm going to be, completely honest with you. We have no expectation that the fishermen's groups could possibly raise that kind of money. Our thrust was to get grants for this. The grant money that we've gotten, and the grants that we made applications for, almost to an application, have said it is not it is not regional enough. It's very, it's there, they're happy with the concept.
Well,
They would like to see it done, however, make it bigger.
Regional's like the new government buzzword.
Okay,
That's what
yeah,
they want.
okay,
They're
and,
doing with
and
everything, yeah.
we, as I said, we've gone to two towns. They have not committed other than going, yeah, we're very interested. When you guys get it further together, come and talk to us, and then we'll talk again.
That's what everybody's gonna say.
We're kind of going around in circles here, and I'm here to kind of make the pitch that I've made to the
Well,
two
Brad,
towns.
Hey, Rick,
Brad, if I may,
are you
I'm sorry, Jim.
thinking along the same lines I am? This is something that's gonna be really hard to debate, discuss intelligently here tonight, because Brad, your goals aren't clear, one, of what you're trying to accomplish. And maybe we can help you, but I'm not sure that we're gonna be able to do it at a meeting like this. I was thinking this thing may be something nice for harbor management,
We can
to
certainly have a subcommittee
touch on that we can maybe,
try and vet it out a little further.
yes, and then be able to come back to
Help
the,
establish a foothold where the trustees could be part of the process moving it forward, where we maybe could develop a consensus for another
Okay,
step forward that you can go to your other towns with and say, now we have the trustees on board,
Of
at a
course.
certain level.
Yeah, and I understand that,
we
and
can help
if
build
I'm not making my goals
support.
clear, I'd very much like to do that now.
no, I think that what you really need is sort of like a document that gives the talking points of truly, these are the specific goals, these are the specific groups that we're representing, and this is where we need to be. And
Products, markets.
yeah,
Yeah. Has
exactly.
Cornell got something like that already?
I
Cornell,
haven't.
has their goals laid out for what they?
Oh, sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
as a
what I
matter of
mean,
fact,
yeah.
as a matter of fact, they've done exactly the same thing for the state of Rhode Island,
Yeah, I think
which actually brought us to Cornell Cooperative. They were hired by the state of Rhode Island. They have the document already published. Rhode Island has been using the document for the past 3 years.
so can we get?
So I can
look at
get
that?
you a copy of that
I
document.
think that would be really helpful,
And that's
Brad.
exactly what we're trying, that's what we're trying to do. And I mean, every time that I've made a pitch, when I made a pitch to anybody, with the exception of you guys, I've had Cornell standing right beside me. So they can explain all the technical stuff to you. But, obviously, they're certainly not here tonight, obviously.
We could-
But, the goal is, the goal is very simple. The goal is simple enough, is very simple. We need a comprehensive socioeconomic study that will explain everything that socioeconomic studies do, which we do not have, and New York State doesn't have, and the federal government doesn't have, and nobody has, so that when we come and we speak to you, or we come and we speak to management, or when we go and we talk to the legislature in Albany, we can go, this is what we are. You have a you have a choice to make decisions based on science, not on hearsay, not on me sitting here and telling you that,
No, it's-
that we are what we are, because actually we don't know what we are, but here's something made by people who have credentials, made by people who have done it before, and, here it is. So you can make your decisions based on this rather than your assumptions. And, the socioeconomic study is definitely something that is necessary for not only this industry, but just about every other industry that I can possibly imagine.
Is there a difference in price for doing it regionally?
No,
Or,
as a matter of fact, they've come down, and, they've been very good about going, okay, look, we understand, but
yeah,
this is rock bottom. The 100 grand is rock bottom. We can do something for less money, but you're going to get a lesser product. And our assumption is this is a one-shot deal. We're not going to get another bite at this. So if we're going to give them $35,000, we're going to get $35,000 worth of socioeconomic study, and it won't be comprehensive. It won't cover the things that are necessary.
So, Brad, what are the industry elements here? Bay fisheries, I assume, draggers and trawlers, I mean offshore guys?
Well, we're talking about commercial fisheries, which are inshore fisheries and
So
offshore fisheries.
longliners, all that.
Yep.
Sport charter
We're
fishermen?
talking about for-hire recreational fisheries, charter and party boat fishermen. People who just hire those small boats to go out and you know, on half-day trips in the harbor to catch bass with
Light tackle.
fly poles.
Yeah, skiff guys.
And the aquaculture industry, not the town aquaculture industry, but the private aquaculture industry, which is growing, especially regionally.
So basically, all aspects of commercial fishing and shell fishing.
Yes.
Okay. The one thing I would say, apart from, you know, being able to share cross-regionally, ultimately, you want to affect political change. And that means numbers. The bigger your numbers, the more bodies, governmental bodies behind you, the greater your strength. And that means doing something of like the 5 East End towns, or, you know, or Southold,
be a
East
much
Hampton, and
louder
Southold, but at
voice.
least that has more power than just the town of East Hampton.
Yeah, and, you know, to Rick's point, but I think if we did get together at the Harbor Management Committee and made this draft document that outlined some of these talking points, it would help us to get everyone on board and have a document that's usable outside of the scope of, you know, just within the town. So I think a draft document that we could maybe start to put together at the Harbor Management Committee.
Well,
And
also, I think it'd be helpful if we could get somebody from Co-op Cornell
Cornell.
to
Yep.
come out, and they're usually pretty reasonable. They like-
Synopsis
they like-
in writing,
they
you want
love to
something in
talk
writing,
about what
really.
they
yeah,
do.
yeah, exactly.
Have a record of what
Discussion
you're
document.
donating to or contributing to.
We could get together sometime.
Yeah, well, no, as I said, you know, whenever I've been anywhere, Cornell has been standing beside me, and they have all the paperwork that they've been, you know, that explains what they do. I mean, I can only explain what we want and what we need,
course.
you know? I can't explain necessarily what they do, even though I know,
What they
you know.
may have in their toolbox already, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I know what they do. I've seen the Rhode Island, you know, study.
Right.
So I know what it is, and it's really almost spot on to what we do, except that they're not, they weren't even as big. They didn't cover as much. You know, it was really mostly, it really was just commercial fishery rather than recreational and the aquaculture.
Right.
So I will be more than happy to get whatever documentation I get, but, you know, anyway, as I said, it was suggested that the trustees might consider a contribution towards this goal.
We actually discussed it.
And that's why I'm
yeah.
here.
We discussed it at an earlier meeting,
Yes.
and I think there was sentiment there to at least match the town's grant, you know, to at least match the town's contribution.
Yes.
But,
But I just see that you need so much more
Of
than,
course, we-
than what we're seeing here, that if we can help you organize yourself to get the monies that you need, well, then something's accomplished. If we're just gonna throw 10 and the town's gonna throw 10, you're halfway to the document that you're saying you really need. Well, how the hell are you getting to the other half?
Well, there's a lot of organizations out there that
No, I mean,
would be willing, I'm sure,
Half a
to
dozen.
participate. One of the ones I think of is Ducks Unlimited.
nothing is nothing.
Big organization, same church, different pew. You know, you need to reach out, I think, Brad, to these different organizations, and I think you might be pleasantly surprised.
Well, I would be pleasantly
Yep.
surprised, because I'm amazed how difficult it is to get a grant to do something that just about everybody I speak to said that's a worthy,
Cause.
you know, worthy goal. And then when it comes down to, you know, push to shove, they always find something that's not quite there, or they, you know, well, we want to just change it a little bit or whatever. And, you know, eventually you wind up getting not what you need,
Brad-
but I understand what, you know, what you're saying.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
what we
mean,
could do- what we
have
could
you
do-
gone back to, you know, just locally, have you gone back to the charter boats? You know, have you
Yeah,
gone?
I mean, they sit on the committee, you know, we have.
Okay, they're
we
on the
have-
committee, but have you gone back to those, the Captains Association or any of these things to see what they would put into this?
Our committee members have said that they, you know, have made efforts to, you know, to speak to their organizations, yes.
And are the organizations in a position where they're making a commitment to support this?
We've never really gotten a commitment. We've gotten interest, we've gotten, yes, you know, when, you know, come back to us again.
Right. Hey, Brad, you know, the other thing that we might be able to do as a board is reach out to other trustee boards in Southampton and Southold and see if we can help you to build support for this. So if you do decide to open this up a little more, maybe we could help to do some communications.
We've
and-
already decided to open it up more. I mean, that is not a, you know, that's not something we have to debate. We have moved on. I just mentioned my personal
Okay,
feeling.
I got a little
which I probably
confused.
shouldn't have done. I just kind of muddied the waters on this one a little bit.
Okay.
But we've reached out to other towns. We've reached out to various grants. We have communicated, you know, within our committee so that they can reach out to other, you know, to other organizations, their own organizations. And we just haven't, you know, as I explained, we got 35 grand. That's what we've got back. We've got 35 grand towards a $100,000 necessity.
And I think there's an interest in this board supporting your efforts, and if we can also help you more administratively, you know, we'd love to meet with you and try and do that, so.
I would be delighted.
When would the next harbor management
Well,
thing is?
next one we're tied up.
Is tied up like crazy.
Yeah,
When's
maybe
all that?
mid-October, you know,
It's
give
gonna
it a
be
couple
the
weeks.
mid-October, beginning of November before we can.
I mean, the next one's all gonna be the wind farm.
Yeah, that's the 4th, didn't you say?
Yeah, the 4th,
Yeah,
that's
but
correct.
We could do it a couple weeks.
But the one
Yeah,
after
we can
that,
Do it a couple weeks after
Or
that,
even
Brett.
do a subcommittee and meet with
Yeah,
we get
Definitely. Smaller
the,
group
we get the
first.
Rhode Island document
Yep.
together and
Maybe I
See
can
how
get,
we-
maybe I can get,
and somebody from Cornell if
Cornell
they're
come here.
available.
And just so you
That'd
know,
be
by the
great.
way, just, you know, so there's no question, no money goes to the committee or the town. It all will go directly towards, you know, it'll go
Toward
from
Cornell.
hand to hand.
No, I think that's pretty clear.
Yes.
I think that's all.
You know, because I didn't know if you understood, but that
No,
is
that's
the
going,
case.
no, it's, you guys are trying to facilitate the production of a study that's gonna be useful, you know, ongoing basis for a lot of good things.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think,
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Brad.
see you soon.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Brad.
Brad.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the board? Okay, move on to new business. Accabonac Creek, ZBA public hearing notice, application of M. Ho, 26 Bay Inlet Road, Springs. Excuse me. To demolish an existing one-story residence and construct a new 3,408 square foot, two-story residence, swimming pool with decking and patio, sanitary system, and driveway on a parcel of land containing wetlands and surface waters. Natural resources, special permit pursuant, variances of the town code and any other relief. The following variances are required. 1 and 2, variances of 24 and 35 feet are required to allow the residence and decking to be constructed 76 feet and 65 feet from wetlands where a 100-foot setback is required, and a 4-foot variance is required to install a sanitary system 146 feet from wetlands where a 150-foot setback is required. Bay Inlet Road is down in Lionhead. So who's on that committee? They're not here
That's gonna be,
tonight.
it's gonna be Hog Creek.
Yeah.
table it,
That's the date.
what's the meeting, is like coming up like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep, tomorrow.
What side of, this is gonna be on Gardens Bay?
Actually, I'm not sure which one, if it's that one or that one. It's in between the creek and the bay.
Yeah.
It's actually just short of the inlet.
It's just tough with one day's notice.
Yeah.
Going off.
Yeah, we got this September 21st. All right, I'll send an email to the ZBA and ask if we can have some time to review it.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate.
Okay. ZBA public hearing notice, East Hampton Ventures, 26 Fenmarsh Road. To renovate an existing 2,118 square foot house, to convert 91 square feet of second-story deck into living space, to construct a 281 square foot two-story addition, to resurface and construct an additional 40 square feet of new decking around the outdoor shower, to rebuild swimming pool, and to resurface and increase pool decking 46 square feet, to relocate the pool equipment, and to create a new 4-foot wide path to access Hog Creek on a parcel of land with wetlands. Natural resources special permit and 4 variances are required. The variances of 17.4 feet, 24.6 feet, 46.6 feet, and 38 square feet are required to respectively convert an existing second-floor deck to living space, and 82.6 feet to construct a new shower deck, 75.4 feet added on to the pool decking, 53.5 feet, and replace the pool 62 feet from the wetlands where 100-foot maximum setback is required. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
variances.
Yeah.
That one should get a look.
And this one's October 3rd, so,
That should go to committee.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get a site visit on that. Sounds really busy.
Yeah.
Is there any detail on what they're doing with the pool? Are they gonna be upgrading, what kind of what
No.
kind of,
I read everything to you.
Yeah.
No.
that's not until October?
Well, October 3rd,
Yeah,
it's
but it's still
a week away. Beaches, a ZBA public hearing, notice. Oh, we did that one, that was Britain. Georgia, an application of Rifkind to
That was
remove.
tabled.
That was tabled. Napeag Lazy Point, application of Devon Yacht Club for maintenance dredging.
Yeah, and this is, Devon Yacht Club, this is something that they do every couple of years. It's the same application that
Same
we've
exact
had.
stuff, right?
They've repackaged. I called Jim Walker, haven't heard back from him yet.
Was an issue last time what they were doing with the excess
There
sand?
was really no issue. I mean, what happened with the sand the last time is in the past, they had been paying for the sand, stockpiling it someplace above the bulkhead where it was basically blowing back into the harbor.
So now this, they put it on public property?
Now we're putting it on public property, and if you remember the last time this application came up 2 years ago, we did not charge them for the sand. The public got
Yeah,
the
'cause
sand
it
back,
was-
and that looks like what they're proposing again this time.
It's gonna go in the same spot?
Yeah, so I think this may be ready to vote by next meeting.
Okay.
I'd just like to meet with Jim.
Is Jim gonna come in, or are you gonna meet with him?
I'm gonna ask
committee?
him to come in, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Okay, 3 Mile Harbor, P. Miller bulkhead repair at 175 3 Mile Harbor, Hog Creek Highway.
Okay.
As-built survey received.
All right, so I went up and took a look at this application, and this was done quite some time ago, but it appears to have been done correctly. They removed and replaced approximately 2 linear feet of timber. It appears to be green heart bulkhead with vinyl sheeting and backfill with approximately 20 feet of cubic yards of clean fill. We do have a as-built survey. I compared the two today, and I would ask that at this time we close out the permit. But I will say that this job went in 2006, and for those that are listening, it's important that you notify us within the year that we issue you the permit. That's the standard
About
operating.
7 years later, 8 years later.
Yeah, it kind of threw me for a loop, yeah, so that's not how the process works for good reason. So again, I'd make a motion that we accept it.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to old business. Georgia Pond, dredging of South Inlet, and emergency opening. The emergency opening has been withdrawn, right?
Yeah.
And we're still trying to get the meeting together for the,
The main dredging permit.
right, so that can be tabled. Georgia Cove, dredging excavation, that's the same permit. Brad Lowen was just here. Reese, 18 Driftwood Lane. Do you want to talk about that at all, Rick?
Yeah, we were asked to, remember this at Driftwood Shores on Gardner's Bay, and last year there was a question about the use of the beach in front of one of the homeowners'
You have a copy of that?
houses on, on the shorefront part of the Driftwood Shores subdivision. So those property owners, their last name is Reese. We ordered a title report through Fidelity National Title to see whether we could determine whether the trustees had a claim of ownership to the beach. The title company was only able to trace title back to about the 1880s. And in all the deeds that they came up with from the 1880s forward, the shore boundary of the upland property was always Gardner's Bay, or the waters of Gardner's Bay, or similar language, which is to say, the mean high water mark of Gardner's Bay. It was never bounded by the beach or by the bluff. Now, that's not to say that there weren't earlier deeds or an original conveyance, in the 1700s or the earlier in the 1800s, but we weren't able to find, they weren't able to trace back the title discernibly before the 1880s. So we told the people at the time that, look, we have no basis right now for claiming to own the beach, and that's where things ended. Now, apparently, this dispute has still been going on, and so the Reeses have contacted, I don't know what the contact was, Francis. I think they wrote a letter, right? I think
Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah,
They've asked us to clarify with various agencies, town attorney's office, I guess the town police, what our position is. And so I have written a draft letter. Has that been distributed?
Yes, I saw it.
All right, so presumably you have my draft letter. I just want, before we send this out, this is what I am I've drafted that would go out over Francis's signature, but
I like a lot of what was put into it. The third paragraph, I just don't think is necessary.
the one that the trustees therefore acknowledge.
I mean, I don't see us sending letters out on every piece of property that has a question of ownership. I'm not really sure, we seem to be going above and beyond the call of duty here on this one. And there's 200 years that don't have a clear delineation of how the deed was crafted and what the, delineation was. So I just not really sure, why we're going to such a length at this time.
Really, to me, the important part of the letter, most important part was, we acknowledged that we told them last year that the title report didn't establish our ownership of the beach. I think that these people believed that they would get something from us that clearly says they have a right, the sole right to the land, and they can exclude others.
I thought.
We're not.
We weren't going to.
We're not.
And we're not.
And that's really the fourth paragraph. In the fourth paragraph, what I said is, we wish to make it clear, this letter is not intended to and does not foreclose the possibility that the general public and/or owners of other lots in Driftwood Shores may have rights of access over that beach, including the portion of the beach in front of the Reese lot. Those rights of access might be based on the New York Public Trust Doctrine, on theories of prescriptive easement or implied easement, by which I mean to say either that people have been using the beach for such a long period of time in association with their nearby properties, they may have prescriptive right to continue to use the beach. There might be an implied easement that is created by the subdivision map, or there may be other legal doctrines. So the bottom line is, it's not our job to tell the town police, the town attorney's office, or anyone else that no one other than the shorefront property owner has the right to the beach. Yes, we don't have proof of our ownership, but that doesn't mean that the general public can't use the beach. That's really what point I was trying to get across.
I think to me, it read fine. I
Yeah.
didn't see a reason
No, it
to.
looks good. We are what we are. We might have an ownership claim, just unproven.
Well, we're not pursuing that. I think what the
We pers-
Reese's
But
really.
if you want to take out the
Pursued it
third
as far as
paragraph,
we could legitimately pursue
Well, we
it.
pursued it.
you know, if you want to take out the third paragraph, you think that's superfluous, I think that can be
No,
removed. and-
no, I think, I'd like to keep it the way it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I want to bring it to the board, because
Yeah, yeah.
I want you to discuss it, decide. I mean, you know, you're getting legal advice from your attorney, but the letter is essentially going from you, because it's going to be signed by the clerk.
So, Jim, can you just
You guys
share with me
have-
maybe your thinking
No,
on
I
that?
thought he covered all the points there. Clearly what the Reese's were looking for is for us to provide them some self-serving document that they could walk out to their neighbors who are sitting below the bulkhead on their property and wave it in front of them and run them off. I think Rick did a good job of covering all of those points that, yes, we researched this, it does not, from the research, we don't own it. But what the homeowner was looking for was not that we don't own it, but somehow that we were guaranteeing them title to it, and we're not doing that either. This is a civil case. I think Rick did a good job of getting us out of this. I feel like send the letter and let's move on down the road.
Just to clarify, I wouldn't quite say that we don't own it. We can't prove that we
We
own it.
can't prove that we
Right
own
now.
it, but right now,
At
we're
this
not
time.
looking to give anybody, we're not a judge and jury
Well, that's what
here.
I'm saying, it seems like, we don't want to get involved in some
No.
type of a civil matter or
No.
other dispute.
I mean, this issue was brought before us. We took every conceivable action you could take. We researched the title back as far as it could be done. And
Now, you
the
send
results
a-
were
you send
inconclusive.
You send this letter, and I actually thought that we had already settled this, but we
At
send
one of
this
the
letter.
meetings.
Yeah, and I think, we settle, we send a letter, it should settle this once and for all.
Yeah,
with
I'm
the,
okay with that.
With these
All right,
warring parties.
Yeah,
very good.
half the fields in
All right, I'm with you.
Were you gonna write it, Francis? Who should be the addressees? Obviously, we gotta give a copy to the Reese's.
Well, we should put,
Sounds like they wanted the town attorney to be informed, I guess the town police to be informed.
yes.
I don't think it's our job to contact anybody other than the person that wrote us the letter. I think send it back to the Reese's.
You
Yeah,
don't
again,
think,
we don't want to
CC
get,
the town attorney's office.
Okay.
yeah,
well, if
I
you
think
wanna
the
do that.
attorney should have it.
Okay,
It's illegal.
we'll do that then.
but I don't think we should go any further than that.
No, we CC the town attorney's office, they can do what they
Because
want.
my fear with this is, okay, you send it to the police, depending on who reads this thing, they may
I
construe
don't
your
disagree.
letter and let the
Yeah.
town attorney carry that
You're probably
order
right.
to the police
You're probably
department.
right.
All right. move on to committee reports, Acabonacog
Just,
Creek. Yeah.
friends to be aware, I mean, depending on who the final addressee is, it starts with whom it may concern, so we change that, then we have to change that opening part. Either write it to the Reeses and copy the town attorney, write it to the town attorney, copy the Reeses. That will change slightly the first paragraph of the letter, as well as the, the address part, to whom it may concern, or dear, so-and-so.
Okay.
We'll work out the details.
Okay.
Acabonacog Creek, mosquito note spray trial area proposal report. If you want to report on the conference call?
It worked out well. Everybody was happy with the results. We're going to continue it on to next year.
Bill, did we reduce the spraying at all through the program that we piloted?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it's hard to be definitive, it was a very short trial period.
Okay,
We discussed it as to a great maiden voyage, a shakedown cruise. We had the
got the
thing,
procedures in place,
the areas, the
delineated.
places located.
Okay,
We are gonna actually have people from vector control are gonna come out, probably toward the end of October, and what we're gonna do is, we've located some hot spots. And they're gonna come out and see if there's any way they can do area remediation. If it's a puddle, you might be able to fill it in, you might be able to level it out, or you might be able to correct a ponding situation. So, I mean, as a result of the stuff we've done, they're gonna follow through, we're gonna go out and
that sounds promising.
identify all the hot spots, and it looks like we might be able to spare the outer marshes, the closest ones to the water. It seems like the most intense breeding things are sort of where the Phragmites are just starting to emerge. So, I mean, we've gotten some useful knowledge, we're gonna get some, we're probably gonna get rid of a few localized hotspots. I mean, you get a depression in the ground
Yep.
at every time.
Sure.
So we are gonna be making progress. But next year, we're planning on hitting it, full steam ahead,
Earlier in the season.
earlier in the season with people that are, not training as you go and stuff like that.
Okay.
And there's probably gonna be some equipment we're gonna be talking about, we don't have to do it. Some other, some GPSing equipment, possibly. That's some GPSing equipment that we could send directly to them. The stuff we have has to be, the ones we have, they have to take the data we have and put it in a different format to send it to them. So, these are all kinds of technical details and stuff we will have worked out by early next spring.
All right.
All right, Clearwater Beach Property Owners Association, that bulkhead repair replacement we were just talking about, we received a letter from the association notifying us of a change of officers. And James Cafaro is now the president of the Property Owners Association.
Congratulations.
You're official. You're official, Jim.
Condolences, I know. Okay.
Rose Can Bluff Restoration, 313 Kings Point Road. I guess we'll table that one.
We haven't received anything.
Okay. Beaches, 278 LLC and Further Lane Homeowners Association. Survey
Okay,
received.
I went and looked at that one. They were actually up for a public hearing tomorrow night. That has been postponed. But I did go and look, met with the applicant, walked the property. Presently, this is the one where they were proposing this raised boardwalk out to the ocean. The way the plans are drawn right now, they don't even come close to the edge of our beach. So, we are not interested
Well,
in
it
parties
must
at this
end
point.
on the beach,
It does not.
really?
It actually ends way short
Okay.
of the beach grass.
Is there a
So,
path or something?
well, that's to be determined,
Okay.
okay? But that's the way it was drawn,
The way it's drawn, the wood,
And,
the physical construction stops way short of the beach, right?
yeah, so. That's all I can tell you guys.
Okay. Georgia Ponds, One Association Road.
I had been approached by not the agent for the applicant, but the caretaker of the applicant, who had expressed the owner had an interest in perhaps trying to negotiate something. I have not heard back from him. That's as far as this went, so.
Potentially a buffer being installed on the
Well,
upland
that's
portion?
our position. Our position has been, regardless of whether it's cutting Phragmites or excavating the Phragmites, given the situation here, we've got to get some measurable benefit
Gotta be-
beyond improving the view on the property.
Gotta be some natural buffer, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Cason,
Yeah.
Pragmatic Control.
I haven't seen the revised.
Got a new survey here, Jim? Have you
If
seen
you look at that, I think I know what the revised survey's showing.
Looks like the entire frontage of the property.
Okay. I don't know whether you guys remember this we actually already voted on this, so it's kind of an after the fact. Originally, there were two blobs of Phragmites, one on either corner of the property. When we actually came out, Brian and I went out to visit the property. The Phragmites actually extended pretty consistently across the front of the entire shoreline of the property. We asked the applicant to kind of modify their application to actually cut all of the Phragmites rather than the two small blobs. All this revised survey is doing is they're basically cleaning up the book so that
That's just
all
a
of our,
document that matches
all of our,
what they're gonna do.
yes,
Great.
And we've already agreed.
and we've already approved
Told them
this,
to do
so.
it.
It's good to see him following through and providing the
No, that was
supporting
nice.
documentation. Nice job.
All right. Harbor Management Report.
Yes. When we start with duck blinds, there is some interest in a few new duck blinds this year. There is an applicant who would like a duck blind on Northwest Creek, and we have a couple of derelict blinds over on Northwest Creek. So I think it would be great to try and repurpose
The same location?
very close, so possibly, we can either move the blind and shore it up a little bit, or allow the applicant to build a new one, and maybe he can help us take the old one down. So that's one I'd like to see us move forward with. And there's a bit of room over in Northwest, as there were a few derelicts. I think last year, there were a total of five blinds on the whole Northwest Harbor. So there's a little bit of room over
Has
there.
has anybody looked into, CPF, a property was bought with CPF monies off of Northwest Harbor Road there.
Yes.
That has it's kind of nice, now that the house is gone, there's a nice public access. And I don't know how good a shooting spot it would be, but
Went all the way up at the end?
it's not quite at the end, it's the one almost right across the street from the launching ramp.
Oh,
Yeah, it's tucked behind the parking area there. That's a possible spot in the future. But right now, we just have the one new application pending,
Well,
so.
we also have that one for Malik Atkinson.
Okay, and then
Now,
that's an
I don't know
opportunity.
whether we want to try and add her into Napeag and basically put a new blind where the old number one blind was, or just on the other side. There is room in there.
Okay.
Uh,
If they'd like to be, in the eastern side of town, that would be a nice choice.
I'll talk to them and see what their pleasure is.
All right, do we need to have a vote on a new blind for Northwest Creek?
I don't think
Okay.
so, no. I think you've
Alright.
been charged with the management of it, so.
Okay. So I'd like to, go ahead and do that.
That's a relief, because
Okay. Very good. All right. And then I ran into Tom, the gentleman who was interested in doing the horseshoe crab surveys, and he would like to try to get some planning going
okay.
on that for next
I did,
year.
on the horseshoe crab surveys, I did contact the fellow at Cooperative Extension
Okay.
that has been doing this horseshoe crab studies. And unfortunately, they don't have as much information as I thought, so that we're gonna really be starting something kind of from ground zero.
Okay.
He did say he would like to come in October, November, do a little presentation, see if we can start to put together you
Why
know,
don't we get that on a,
I think what's gonna happen is, I don't think we're gonna be in a position to, let's say, close areas this coming year. What we're gonna try and do is try and identify
Survey.
the areas and
Get
do
some
the survey.
counts, yeah.
Yep.
And,
that's important.
and that'll be the
Important
first step. And he was pretty excited that there was somebody that was interested, because he said they have tried to do that out east here. And that's part of the reason they don't have the data, is they've had a hard time getting volunteers this far out to,
I think we
to
could get,
do,
I think
to
we
do
could
the
get some
studies.
volunteers.
So if you want, I'd like to take this.
Why don't you invite
if
him
we
in?
can. Yeah,
Yeah, why don't you invite him into one of our meetings? And I'll ask Tom to come the night that they're coming.
yeah.
Great, sounds good. And then, last but not least, we have our next Deepwater Wind meeting on October 4th. We are still trying to finalize the location. We're looking at a couple of the firehouses in town, possibly the library. We will have members of the town's Energy Sustainability Committee at the meeting. There are some members of the East End Resilience Network that would like to participate, and continued participation by the commercial fishing and recreational fishing community. So it should be a great meeting. It's going to be primarily focused on the community benefits of the project and how we can build a resilient, sustainable energy system for our town, which is a daunting challenge. And Deepwater Wind is kind of at the center of all this, so they will be a main participant in the meeting. So it's going to be a great meeting, and I hope, members of the public can join us, and we are working hard to have a big meeting venue that will accommodate.
How about the American Legion?
That could work. It's a nice big
You know,
room.
because it's nice centrally located.
And I don't know, what the cost might be to secure it, but,
I think it,
Yeah, I mean, the board has to decide if they want to set a budget. We can get some spaces, but,
yeah,
I mean, they can cost up to
This is-
$500 for the evening.
the meeting is at least that important.
yeah.
Well, it's a week away, so if we're gonna budget monies for this, can we put a motion on the floor to budget up to
So,
$500?
To 500?
enough, 500 enough?
Yep. I mean, I'd make a motion to budget up to 500 to secure a meeting location, if we can't find one that is at no
Free.
charge.
I'll second a motion.
We don't have a lot of time to,
Yep.
That's
We're
why
trying
I'd
to
like to
secure
do
it by
this,
tomorrow.
that way, if we've got the motion on here, Rick can run with it. and-
Yep, I got some time
I'm
tomorrow.
in favor of it.
Okay.
Money well spent.
All right, Francie, you want to
I'm
call a
good.
vote?
yeah, I'm all good.
Everybody's good?
Okay, we're all good.
Okay, did you get that, Lori? All right.
Okay, thank you.
We'll talk
And
after the
how- we're
meeting.
gonna, can we put that on, we're gonna announce it on LNG, on our website,
We'll move quickly to get it distributed and out to the public's notification,
okay.
definitely.
If you give me the information you want me to run down and do the sound bite, that's fine.
On LNG,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm hoping by tomorrow evening to have everything pulled
Okay.
together, and I'll
Brian's
distribute it.
working on a
to
second
everyone.
career over there.
He's a radio personality.
What's up, Big Daddy?
You're awesome, you're quite great at it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking.
All right, anything else?
That's it at the moment for harbor management.
All right. Napeag, Lazy Point, Curtis, Geocubes,
Okay,
and sand placement.
I did a little looking into this one. It was a little confusing because it appeared that there was an application for geocubes that were already there. But the geocubes are actually at the 401, the property next door. And what it looks like the Curtises are looking to try and do is continue the geocubes across their property, but there's a little dilemma here. The 401 property was supposed to remove the geocubes after some time, and they hadn't done that. So this is before the town, this is before the ZBA right now. We seem to be a little ways off. I am going to speak with the applicant, and we'll see. If it's done, I don't know what it seems that the town's position on this is to not have these structures.
Well, they're only supposed to be temporary for
Well,
6 months, right?
And that's
Is
what,
that what the
and that's what,
LWRP?
and
6
that's
months
what
with a 30-day
401
Right,
had.
right.
And now we appear to be, and if you actually look at this property, I'm not sure that the GeoCube approach here is even necessary. I haven't gone down, I've looked at the aerials on this, I actually haven't visited the site. I am gonna visit the site, but from the aerials, it doesn't look like,
It's gonna do any good, or-
well, no, it looks like it'll do good, but it looks like it might be able to be accomplished in other ways.
I sent an application, but I haven't.
Yeah, that
The
was,
existing ones.
and I'll follow that
It's a
up.
subject
I'll
property.
give Billy Mack a call.
I actually, well, I
Is the
sent
town
it.
doing anything about the
Yeah.
fact that
I mean, I
the
get it for
permitted
storm
ones weren't
season, but
removed?
we need to
It's,
get some
get
participation with
into
the
that.
process.
Mhm.
So have we been noticed on the
Oh, actually, it's
ZBA?
it's the other side.
hearing for the,
there is no hearing.
Not yet.
No, there's no hearing yet on this.
Okay.
There was some confusion as to exactly, seemed like we
It's
were
the other
being
side of
asked.
that property.
To approve
Is that
something that had
something
been
we-
done years ago?
permit?
Yes, but it
And
was actually the
turns out
neighboring property,
I don't know, we'll have to look in our records.
that the neighboring property.
Have you looked into the records to see if
Violation.
if they have a permit from us for this?
Then there's
Not-
The
393.
owners?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
so,
This
Brent, so you're saying there's,
401.
there's geotubes on both sides of the
No,
application?
no, it's just the one, the other
Just
side
one.
was a snow fence.
Oh, okay.
This is the cubes, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Laura, you can check for see if a permit was ever requested or issued for 401 Cranberry Hill Road?
I just want to mention one thing about Lazy Point. It was brought to my attention by some of the owners. The beach, cottages, beach, water, after a few feet, it drops like this, very, very deep, very quickly. And it was never like that prior to the county opening it up and perhaps the sand that they put there. Something happened, and some of the older folks said to me that it was kind of alarming, with their kids.
Well, you know what they've got there that they never had before? Like, you get that condition occurs on the ocean beaches all the time, because you get that major charge of sand, and then you get a couple storms like we've had here that kind of scour out, create that shingle. But that's all you're seeing there. I mean, it's,
Natural process?
well, it's a natural process. The sand was added artificially. And perhaps it's a
Sorting
little
it out,
different than what
Got
would naturally
recontoured.
be
Yeah.
found. But that's all that's going on there. It's,
Sounds like it created a shelf.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I mean, it's,
Yeah.
Well, this house, this property's scoured on both sides. It's
Which one are you talking about now?
the 401.
Oh, the 401, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I think Brian's referring to a different section.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Okay, I'm
referring
sorry.
to almost like the whole length.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not even,
Cottages.
we're not even, yeah, we're way to the west.
Way to
Right.
Now we're way to the east.
the east.
So anyway, I just figured I'd mention it because, it was a
Did you want to
concern.
speak on the scouring?
No.
Actually, you mentioned it to me the other day, George. You
That's
brought
where
up
the-
that, you brought up
that's the
that little
existing.
cliff the other day when we were talking.
That's up the beach, that's
Yeah.
not in the water, that's the high,
Yeah,
This one's almost
Yeah.
full water.
that's scoured,
yeah.
Yeah.
but that's high and dry.
If wind ever stops blowing, you'll calm down a little bit.
All right, northwest, Will Sharp, Little Northwest
I
Creek.
reached out again to Mr. Sharp, haven't heard back, so I'm kind of in a holding pattern on that one.
All right.
I know we have a few other excavation projects we're working on, and I think once we get those in hand, maybe we can take a closer look at that, from a strictly trustee perspective, if we feel it will be helpful environmentally.
Mhm.
But at the moment, I think, we need to table it.
Okay. We'll take it off the agenda.
Yeah, and if I hear back from Mr. Sharp,
Yeah.
certainly we'll revisit it.
All right, 3 Mile Harbor, 3 Mile Harbor Marina, Vanderveer.
I'm still waiting for an as-built survey.
All right,
And I suspect we want to also visit the property and all of the projects relating to the trustee ownership over the years. This has been going on a long time, and I did have a conversation with Mr. Vanderveer a way back, and we're still waiting for the as-built and an invite to go down and take a look. So maybe we could send him a letter to that effect.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, we did?
yeah.
Okay.
So,
When he gets an offer on the property, we'll hear from him.
Very good.
And Foley Dock at 18 3 Mile Harbor Drive, request to leave the pilings in place over the winter. This is a new homeowner.
No, it's a new home of it.
Yeah.
This project has come before us a couple of times. It used to belong to a gentleman named Coe. And, you know, the pilings there are actually not small pilings. They're fairly substantial pilings. I guess he wants to leave them in over the year. It's been a trustee policy for a long time to have residential people remove pilings for the winter, but, you know, there's also regulations that they be fairly small. You know, I think in this case particularly, we should almost treat, you know, the size of the pilings, the disruption caused by removing them and putting them back in every year is more than just leaving them there. They're substantial pilings.
Well,
and,
what's the advantage, what's the reason to take them out?
Well, I think going back,
This is for a floater, right?
yeah, it's for the floater. There's also I mean, there's a solid dock that's there all the time. This is for a floater, and he wants to remove the floater, I believe, and leave the pilings there.
I think the
with a
floater's gone. I think the
bubble
floater's
system.
out of there
Yeah.
right now.
It's probably out of the water.
Did he submit any pictures of the?
They did. These guys came in
Have it
a
here.
little
Yeah,
while
he
ago.
was here. It seems to, I mean, it used to be in commercial property, you were supposed to only put small pilings in, like 8-inch pilings and stuff like that. And they always had a tendency to get ripped out by ice, you know, so the removing them for the winter was put into, you know, stop everything looking like a bunch of pickup sticks in the spring, but
What's your feeling on this, Bill?
I think we should let him keep them in, so, I mean, as long as he's willing to fix them if anything
Sure.
happens, it's, you know.
Yeah, my only concern is, are we gonna set a precedent where everyone who has pilings and?
Well,
I think if
Now
we looked
wants
at the
to-
size of
this
the
is more than
piling.
just a float, right? There's
Yeah.
an actual dock
It's like-
there,
Yeah, there's a, s-
Okay.
which
it's
I
a
think would
substantial
make the
structure.
difference.
We may have to alter our rules, maybe based on the diameter of the piling.
Yeah, I feel like we might have to look into it
we
as
should look
well.
at, do you want to just go take us another site visit and look at it, pictures? And we had a lot of
And
information.
you've been there?
I've been there a couple of
Yeah.
times. No, I haven't been
I'd
there.
like to see it if you
Yeah.
want. I'll go with
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Take it
take a
out.
look at it.
I mean, I was there a couple of times when it was the prior owner, you know, because this has been an issue that's been
Right.
ongoing.
Yeah, sure.
Look at fully dock with.
My name's John Aldrin. I seem to recall a long time ago hearing this discussion about removing pilings, and I think it had to do with the Bayman scalloping, that they wanted them removed because it would interfere with scalloping.
Accessing the bottom
So
line.
I'm pretty sure that's the main reason for this winter removal.
Okay, thank you, John.
I at one point had a client, and I don't know, it might have been this project, not my client now, but the only reason that person did want to leave the pilings in and was willing to put in a bubbler system, the only reason the trustees gave for not doing that was they didn't trust the bubbler season and they were concerned the pilings would be pulled out by ice during the winter. I don't remember anyone.
And be a navigational hazard possibly?
Yeah, they didn't mention, interference with scallopers. They mentioned simply the navigation hazard of having the pilings come out due to winter ice.
I know there hasn't been really a lot of, scallop dredging for many, many years.
These
so-
pilings are kind of located 10 foot away from a solid dock.
Right.
Good. Thank you, John.
Is it on 3 Mile Drive, the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
It used to,
This might have been the one I was involved in.
gentleman's name was Coe that used to own it. Robert
Coe?
Coe?
COE.
C-O. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the property.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at it,
Yeah, It's probably worth a look.
yeah.
All right, move on to administrative.
This is the
Pam-
guy with-
So have we decided on what, we're just
We're
gonna
gonna go,
table it?
we're gonna go look at it.
Site
Table it
visit, okay.
until the next meeting. We'll take a look at it.
All right, payment of the bills, North Fork Water Supplies, $46.44. East Hampton Marina, $690.34, pump out boat fuel. One Beacon Insurance, $3,238 and $6,338 for the pump out boats. Peason Marine Service.
Persan.
Persan.
And
Percent.
Persan. Oh, there's no R in this. Okay.
this one
Yeah,
has
there's an R.
There's an R on this
Not on
one.
my copy.
Yeah, there is an R.
$240 for pump out boat repair. New York State Insurance Fund, workers' comp, $510.87. And the East Hampton Star, $285 for an ad for LLC.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills.
You weren't fast enough.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do we want to look at the minutes?
Yes.
June 26th?
Okay. I did have an opportunity to look at June 26th, and I believe some changes were made. Having said that, I would ask that we make a motion to accept those minutes
With the changes?
with the changes, yeah.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
July 10?
I have not had an opportunity to look at the 10.
Okay,
Brian, have you had a chance to
No.
look at those? We table those, please, Francis?
sure.
Yeah.
All right, and financial report for the month ended June 31st, 2017. Has anyone had an opportunity to look at it?
I had an opportunity during the meeting, and everything appears to be in order. And I would ask that we accept the balance sheet as of August 31st, 2017, and the profit and loss January through August of 2017.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, report of the clerk. We had our largest clam contest this past weekend, very well attended, very hot.
Nice.
I want to thank Fred Overton, for once again, he went above and beyond. He must have made 15 gallons of,
Oh, he made the,
every year he makes it, 15 gallons of
Yeah, it
chowder.
was really good.
Yeah.
You can't let him go in the best chowder contest because he just wins it all the time. So we have him in-
The overall winner of the largest clam was Kathy Fromm. She brought one in that was 2 pounds, 9.6 ounces.
There's a 3-pound clam out there someplace.
somebody's gotta
Somebody's gonna
find it.
break the 3-pound limit someday.
So
Good job,
thank
Kathy.
you to everybody that pitched in. It really was a good time.
And our vendors, right, people that gave,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Donated, thank you.
Do you have a list? I don't have it with me.
No,
No.
we just want to thank
But-
everybody, all the merchants that contributed. It's a rather long list, a community effort. You know who you are, and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Can we make that available on the website? Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just forward me the list, please, and I'll make sure it gets up there
Okay.
with a nice thank you letter.
All right, and the only other thing I have is our next meeting is scheduled for October 9th. It's Columbus Day, holiday, this building's closed, we don't have access. So do we want to just postpone the meeting, or do we want to move it to another date? Getting this room is difficult.
Right. Well, you know, we've had such busy agendas, it's difficult to just skip a meeting, so I think it would be helpful for us to have a meeting, whether it's delayed a little bit or rescheduled, but I think we should try to have the meeting if possible.
In a pinch, can't we go back to Bluff Road?
We can,
Yeah,
we have to arrange with LTV. and-
sure. That's a
So you want to do it the
consideration.
following week?
I would say yes.
The following week, good for you?
I'm guessing it is. What's the date?
16th and the 23rd. I mean, the 16th would be the
18th.
makeup
No,
meeting.
that's,
23rd is the
16th.
scheduled, regularly scheduled meeting.
and then we would have one on the 23rd also.
Okay, so we'd have one, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
All right.
Not on the
That's what
9th.
it is.
So we'll meet at the trustee's office on October 16th.
Unless we can make other arrangements, I guess.
I'll see if this
Yeah.
is available, but generally it is
Okay.
not.
But if worst comes to worst, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Francis, I do have one more thing. There has been some interest expressed in the Adopt a Beach program.
Yes.
So I think it's important that we make sure we have all our documentation ready, the applications, and maybe, Laura, we can go over that sometime and make it on the website. That'd be great.
When
So
do we plan on starting that?
And I think it's going to be for next season.
for next season, but I
Yeah.
think if people want to start to apply, we can make sure the applications
did
are
you get the-
available.
We got our first
We had an
application.
application
yeah.
from CFAR
Yes.
already.
Great. And I think there's some other general interest out there, so I think we'll see other applicants come forward and we'll start to make it available.
Okay. Correspondence, Peconic Estuary Program has a new website. We can give their website address. It's the peconicestuary.org.
Nice. Yeah, they do some good work.
Yeah. A notice from, this is the HAB's confirmed, nothing in East Hampton.
What was the date on that?
I think it arrived today.
Okay.
And an email from, yes. Peter Mendelman, email about the condition of the jetties at 3 Mile Harbor, Maidstone, with some photographs. Now,
We should reach out to the town board. I know the town board fixed put the steel in on and repaired the jetty on the west side.
yeah, that needs a
And we
little
should
more
see-
repair
and it
again
needs
also.
some more repair, and we should see what the ownership status is of the.
Yeah,
of the
'cause
rock.
with this jetty, with some of the rocks being out of position, sand
It's
is
filling
washing
in. No,
through into
this
the
is-
inlet, and that's the challenge, is creating
Well,
some
the thing is,
shoaling.
the trustees don't even own that beach. That's the town beach.
That was the town, that was
Yeah.
given to the town. I think this might all be in town ownership, but we should definitely refer this to,
But certainly we can encourage them to make the repairs.
deal with it.
Yeah, because I think the county is gonna look unfavorably on the shoaling that takes place if it's caused due to neglect of
Yeah.
the
No, agreed.
jetty there. That
Maidstone,
wouldn't be good.
yeah, the property, I think
gonna-
all of that.
We were gonna check
falls
on that at
town
some point.
property. No, I think it's all town property, but should we, you want to?
But it's also the ownership of the jetty, or the responsibility of the
Yeah.
maintenance of the jetty,
I
whether
think
that's
it's-
Army Corps or town, I'm
I
not
think,
sure.
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
the
that's
count-
something
the-
that should be looked into. We should get the supervisor's office involved.
They already have gotten a copy. In fact, they're the ones that got the copy.
Yeah, the county has already stated that they have no records of ownership, of doing the construction of those jetties.
Yeah, they seem to feel it was the Army Corps that put that jetty in place.
And we have to track it down and get somebody working on it. Who owns the who owns the property would probably be the,
First step.
yeah.
And is there an existing relationship regarding the jetty?
I think the only work that was done out there was, besides like removing that old shed, was on the other jetty, the one on the west side, and that was repaired and replaced, over 10 years ago, I think,
By the town?
by the town, I believe. But you can see it needs some work. It doesn't need any major work now, but it definitely needs some maintenance.
Yep. Well, it's an important channel, it gets a lot of boating traffic.
They have that, there's about a 16-inch wide cap going all the way out on top of steel, and looks like about a third of the pieces are missing. So
It's pretty dangerous.
looks like railroad tracks going out there now. But it's never been intended as a walkway either. There's no railings, there's no anything out there, so. should maybe ask the town to have their engineer evaluate it. Some of them.
That's my list.
Okay. Great.
All right, does anybody have anything else?
I don't think so.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
I think of anybody else.